Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shamrock's Innovation Showcase. My name is Bob DeGarmo, and I'm the president of the Shamrock Companies, and I'm coming to you from my home office here in Walnut Creek, California. We have about 100 people here on the call today from all over the country, so I'd encourage all of you to please feel free to get active in the chat. Let us know your name, your location, and of course, as we go through today's showcase, any comments you have about any of the products. So as most of you know, Shamrock is a full service marketing agency, and we support our clients with both online and offline marketing strategies. So if you want to improve your online presence and find and convert more prospective clients, please talk to your Shamrock salesperson about our full suite of digital marketing services. Regarding our offline services, managing programs that consist of print, promo, technology, and fulfillment continues to be a strength. And so again, if you'd like to learn more about some of the advances that we've made with our eStore products, please reach out to your Shamrock salesperson. So we're here today for our innovation showcase, and we're going to cover our name brand lines of promotional products and merchandise. Again, thank you for investing the time today. We'd love to hear your feedback on today's events, and I hope you enjoy yourself and really come away with something. I'll now turn it over to Tim Berry, who is Shamrock's Director of Promotional and Premium Products. Take it away, Tim.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody taking their time out of their busy schedule to join us today. I'd like to address a few platform topics, if at all possible, before we get started. In the upper right, you'll notice there's a question and answer tab. Please feel free to put any questions that you have for our presenters or maybe your sales director in that area, and then we will address those after the session. There's also a handout section. Please feel free to browse that during this presentation. Our presenters have put some very useful information in there and some offers and things of that nature. So it's imperative that you take a look at those. And then most importantly, the chat. As Bob mentioned, we want you guys chatting it up. So much so that half of our prizes that we're giving away today are chat based, okay? So basically, those who are participating in the chat are gonna have a lot of options to win amazing swag. So let's talk about prizes. If you've attended a product showcase of Shamrock's, you know we give away some amazing stuff. So that's why, A, half of it's going to be tied into chat participation, and the other half is to keep you on as long as we can, and then there's going to be a call to action at the end. So at that point in time, you'll be able to participate in winning more prizes. Today's session is only going to last about 40 minutes. We have 3 brand specialists co-hosting with us today. 2 of our specialists will be featuring multiple apparel brands. And apparel obviously ties into polos, quarter zips, athleisure, outerwear, headwear, things of that nature. Our 3rd specialist will focus on hard goods, and those are derived of items like drinkware, tech accessories, eco products, and much, much more. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you our first apparel brand specialist. Her name is Brianna Soli. She's actually going to be talking to us about Travis Matthews, a brand new line for us, Carhartt and North Face. So Brianna, without further ado, please kick us off and I'll be back.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. And of course, thank you, Tim, for that great intro. So yes, my name is Bree, and these are the brands that I'm going to be reviewing today. And I'm also going to be going over some trends and how that relates to your promotional products. So let's go ahead and get started. So the 3 trends that I'm going to go over today are ourselves, our neighborhood, and our globe. So, you know, the pandemic has really impacted a lot of our lives in a lot of different ways. And in turn, that impacts our needs. And, you know, since COVID, I think we've all just kind of stopped to think about what really matters. And we've thought a lot more about ourselves and our health. Since we haven't been able to travel, we've spent a lot more time in our own neighborhoods. And finally, I think we were all kind of brought back to earth, so to speak, when we saw that one thing truly can impact our entire world. So I'm going to dive deeper into all of these and, you know, why they matter for the promotional products that you're buying. So the first one is ourselves. I don't know about you guys, but those COVID-19 pounds kind of snuck up on me last year. So, and that's the case for a lot of people, I think. But, 2020 was definitely a year of stress and anxiety. But this is the year of health and taking care of ourselves. It's definitely going to take precedence in 2021. Last year the gyms were closed down and everyone just kind of had to start working out from home, and, digital workouts were booming. Peloton is up 176%, for example. But there was a study that was done in November of 2020 that said 92% of professionals hope to return to fitness gyms in 2021. So fitness and health are definitely top of mind. And with that, we're also focusing on our mental health. We're doing some meditation and yoga for those self-care Sundays, and robes and blankets are really relevant right now because, they're just cozy and they make you feel nice and comfy when you're at home with those self-care Sundays. But we also need clothes that are comfortable when we're quarantining at home, and that also transition well if we decide that we want to, go ahead and take a walk outside or do something active. Golf is an industry that is seeing a lot of growth right now, and actually saw a lot of growth in 2020. Rounds are actually up 32%. And for an industry that was almost dying pre-COVID, it just goes to show you that, our needs are changing as we, look for new activities that are outdoors that we can, participate in healthy or safely. So, the growth that the golf industry is seeing is going to translate into more golf outings in 2021 as well. And when it comes to golf apparel for those outings, golfers don't want just golf clothes. They want life clothes. They want clothes that can transition well, from the workplace to a Zoom call, to the golf course, or to dinner. And TravisMathew is the perfect brand for this. And this is actually a brand that is brand new to the promotional products market, and we're really excited about it. If you're not familiar with TravisMathew, this was a brand that was developed because, they took a look at all of the golf brands that were available, and they noticed that all of them just seemed a little loud and kind of in your face. And they wanted to develop a brand that was a little more subtle and a little more lifestyle. So that's when TravisMathew was born. They are actually the #2 PGA golfer in the world is sponsored by TravisMathew. His name is Jon Rahm. And then we've also got Mark Wahlberg and Chris Harrison for some celebrity brand ambassadors for them. This is a look at the styles that are available to put your logo on. We've got lots of great polos for you, as well as some outerwear pieces and some headwear. And all of these pieces just are the perfect pieces that take you from the boardwalk to the boardroom and give that perfect kind of lifestyle transitional piece for you. So the next trend that I want to talk about is our neighborhood. And it's this idea that we're staying closer to home since travel has been halted. And there was actually a new term that was coined in 2020 known as a hipsteader. And a hipsteader is defined as one who uses the energy and money they might have otherwise put into social outings and stylish outfits at Instagrammable locations into transforming their home lives instead. So we're going to take a quick little quiz to see if you are in fact a hipsteader. So think back to the past 12 months. Did you start a garden in your backyard? Did you do a DIY home project? Did you cook at home or try some new recipes? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you, my friend, are a hipsteader. I know I'm a hipsteader, and I always thought we just kind of called that a homebody, but the fact that I'm a hip is good with me. So basically it's just this idea that we've had to find happiness closer to home. So Home Depot is actually a company that is seeing a lot of growth because of all of this rise in the DIY home projects, and gardening is actually on the rise too. So gardening supply companies, they ended the year at $340 billion in 2020, and they're expected to be at $576 billion by 2026. So what does all of this mean for promotional products or employee uniforming? It's really, really important to think about these trends that we're going over so that you can give your employees and prospects and current clients the products that they will actually use in their everyday lives. So, for example, we need workwear clothes for ourselves as we're doing these DIY projects and as we redo our floors and garden outside. And without a doubt, Carhartt is the best, most well-known brand when it comes to your workwear needs. And it's really resonating across a lot of different people and a lot of different demographics. As you can see here, we've got some celebrities that are wearing Carhartt as more of a lifestyle brand. We've got Mark Wahlberg here again. He's just so on trend. But yeah, it's not just your workwear brand. It is definitely translating into more of a lifestyle brand as well. So we've got all of the top pieces from Carhartt that you can use for your promotional needs. We've got their well-known duck jacket, which everyone knows about. But what's really cool is we just added some ladies styles there. So we've got some nice pieces for her. We have some vests, which are great for spring and transition well throughout the year. So we've got your popular duck vest here, but then you also have a puffy vest over here that is actually wind resistant and water resistant as well. And speaking of water and rain, we have the Rain Defender collection, which as you can see here on the left, if you're outside and you get caught in a rainstorm, there's a water protection on there that just beads up and the water just rolls right off so you won't get soaked while you're out there doing your gardening projects or anything else you got to do outdoors. We also have their hardworking t-shirts that you see here on the left. That is their 100% cotton shirt. It is everywhere, but what you might not have seen is the one on the right, which is their Force Cotton Delmont collection. And what that is it's a moisture wicking shirt. So it's great, again, for those outdoor needs. And then we've got lots of headwear for you too. The top left, this is, again, one of those pieces that transitions really well to the lifestyle market. This is actually sold on MLB.com. So a lot of the professional sports teams are using this for their merch. And then on the top right, you've got the oh so popular Carhartt beanie, which is everywhere. It was actually the #1 selling item on Amazon.com last year. So all of these are available for you. All right, so the third trend that I want to talk about is our globe. I think the pandemic has really shown us that, even though we're individually small, we share the globe with each other. And this really ties into sustainability because sustainability just looks at, what we're doing as individuals or as companies to, keep our world healthy, so to speak, for those future generations. And sustainability was a topic that was popular before COVID, but it's even more prevalent now. In fact, 85% of consumers think about the issue of sustainability as much as, if not more, than they did before COVID. 85%, that's a lot of people. So millennials are actually another group that really, are concerned about sustainability. And you can roll your eyes when I say millennials, but they are the largest group of our workforce today. So again, when you're thinking about promotional products or uniforms, you need to think about who's receiving the goods and ask yourself, is sustainability important to them? The odds are yes, that it'll be relevant to 85% of your recipients, in fact. So one of the best known brands that really cares about sustainability is the North Face. And we actually have 13 products from the North Face that use recycled plastic. So these two hats here that you see at the bottom right, those are actually 100% recycled polyester, which is just great. And then, so that beanie is actually $18 and the hat is only $16. And then you've got some bags here that also are using recycled plastic. And then we have some outerwear and vests for you that range from $109 to $180 over here for this trench coat. This coat right here is actually one of my favorite pieces out of our entire collection. So that's all I've got for you today. I know that was a lot of information, and but hopefully you saw something that caught your attention and that you can use for your promotional product needs.
Oh, sorry about that, you guys. Hey, I was just texting my kids that I'm a hipstetter. Anyhow, great job, Bree. Awesome. I see everybody's chatting it up. It's excellent. Great brands, great ideas. And thank you for that presentation. So it's my pleasure to introduce you our second apparel brand specialist. His name is Scott Lurkey. He's going to be chatting with us about Under Armour, Spyder, and Puma. Scott, take it from here, and I'll see you shortly.
Tim, thank you. And again, thank you all for your time today. We certainly appreciate you taking time in your busy schedules to hear more about new product. As Tim had mentioned, I'm going to cover the retail brands Under Armour, Spyder, and Puma. But before we talk about those specific brands, I'd like to have a conversation in regards to why retail. For those of you that have been purchasing promotional products and decorated wearables for a considerable amount of time, you would know that over the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of retail coming into our industry, the wholesale decorated wearable market. And if you're ever wondering as to why, the answer really can be broken down for two reasons. That explosive growth in revenue, in retail offerings in our space is because our retail partners recognize that there's revenue growth opportunities. They're comfortable with great partners like Shamrock decorating these brands responsibly. And most importantly of this, guys, it's consumer demand. Your customers, your employees are asking for retail product. And the question becomes as to why. Why are they asking for retail product? And I think a lot of it has to do with the term brand affinity. And if you're not familiar with that term, the definition of brand affinity is when a consumer believes that a particular brand shares common values with them. And these shared values help build a relationship which tends to retain loyal customers longer. So naturally, if a brand has a positive brand affinity, you're going to want to partner your company or your nonprofit with that particular retail brand. So for those reasons, we've just seen explosive growth in this space. Believe it or not, despite the pandemic we've experienced over the last 12 months, retail's done quite well in our space. And my question to our consumers have been, help me understand why that is, because, conventional thinking, I would have assumed that we would have saw sales be stretched further, where they're trying to get more product with what the limited budgets that they have. But what we have seen thus far is customers are buying nicer, elevated products for higher perceived value, not just for customers, but for employees. A lot of us are working from home in ways we've never worked from home before. So as a nice thank you gift to either customers or employees, they're going for those higher perceived value products. So I guess my suggestion to you would be is definitely consider retail products for your upcoming decorated wearable opportunity. I think your customers, your employees will wear the product more often. And the idea is to get as many impressions as we possibly can for the dollar spent. I want to start specifically today with Under Armour. Under Armour is actually the number 4 largest sports retailer in the world at $5.2 billion in sales annually. Some of the core philosophies of Under Armour is to love the athlete, celebrate the wins, stand for equality, act sustainably, and then fight on together. They've got a lot of very high profile sponsored athletes, including Steph Curry, Tom Brady, but we're focused today specifically on golf. As Bree had mentioned, golf is up 32% in overall rounds over COVID-19. And historically, golf is synonymous with corporate uniforming. Jordan Spieth is the athlete we're looking at today. That's their high-profile golf athlete. The original legacy brand line from Under Armour is predominantly what you see on this screen. It's a lot of formal wear. It's going to be your polos, your layering pieces, some headwear and bagwear in this collection. And it's going to be in what we would consider your standard foundation colors. Overwhelmingly, this is what our customers are looking for when it comes to uniforming opportunities. And we're really excited to have them as a partner. What's really interesting about retail sponsored athletes is believe it or not, there is a direct correlation when an athlete is successful and an increased spike in sales. So we've been told by both Under Armour and Puma that if one of their golf athletes do well on the weekend, they see an immediate spike in sales the following week. So my encouragement to you is, if you do watch golf, something to pay attention to, because there's a lot of brand affinity and the people that want to be associated with winners in general. So moving on to what's new from this collection, Under Armour recognizes that a lot of us are working from home in a much more comfortable environment. So as you can see on this screen, you're seeing a lot of fleece, a lot of crew neck fleeces with kangaroo pouches, more hoodies, more fleece lined or sweatshirt lined quarter zips, much more loungewear, comfort wear as we continue to work in a work from home environment. New to us as well, which is a nice crossover, is adding sunglasses to this collection. This is a new add-on. We have 5 different pairs of sunglasses that are more retail formal, as well as more work-centric sunglasses. We don't decorate on the sunglasses, but we do decorate on the case. So if you're looking to do gifting, for your customers, or if you're looking to do gifting for your employees, but don't want to mess necessarily with sizes, sunglasses or headwear are a great solution to consider. Spyder. Now, Spyder is a new brand in our industry. They've been in our industry now for the last 3 years. So we're really excited to have Spyder as a partner. If you're not as familiar with Spyder, what you should know about their brand is they are a ski brand. They are an outdoor recreational brand, and they're designed to keep you dry and to keep you warm. They're going to be a little bit more edgier than their competitors. You know, one of their largest competitors we just talked about, which is the North Face. What a great brand. The biggest difference I would say between the two brands is I'd say that the North Face has successfully integrated, as Bree had mentioned, into a lifestyle category where people are wearing the North Face or wearing Spyder when they're skiing or participating in snow activities, but they also want to wear it to the lodge, or they want to wear it out to dinner or wear it in a formal setting. So I think Spyder is trying to accomplish that same goal of being a lifestyle brand as well in this space, but also staying true to their roots, which is keeping you dry and keeping you warm. Spyder is the official U.S. ski team sponsor, which is pretty exciting as well. And they've got a lot of high profile athletes in that ski space that are considered sponsors as well. So what you're seeing in this collection on this particular page is some of their foundation styles. Some of their pieces are going to be mostly going to be outerwear pieces, mid-layer pieces, but exclusively in this collection, you can actually order Spyder polos in both men's and ladies' companions, which is really exciting for those of you that are in the South or maybe in the West that don't have maybe colder climates. New to this collection, just a general expansion of the line. I do want to call out specifically what you see in the top center. That's an anorak jacket. Some of you might recognize anorak jackets from the 80s. What's old is new again. Multiple retail partners are coming out with anorak jackets, which is pretty exciting. So I didn't even realize, but I myself own an anorak jacket. So apparently I'm trending, which is pretty cool. You'll see some of their new headwear styles as well too. That's a waffle knit pattern that Spyder calls the spider web pattern. So you're going to see a lot of their product that have that kind of material. We have that in outerwear, and we also have that in headwear styles as well too. And again, you'll see some of these really nice subtle puffer jackets, water repellent jackets, and lots of mid-layer vest options too. So I'm a big fan of Spyder. I'm really excited to see what this brand is going to do over the next couple of years. It continues to grow its brand identity and its brand awareness. But I think if you are a little bit more on the edgier side and like that appeal, I think you're really going to like what you see from Spyder. And then lastly, to round out the assortment is Puma. So Puma has been in our industry, the decorated wholesale market, for quite some time. But they have reinvented their collection in our decorated wholesale wearable space. Puma, believe it or not, guys, is the third largest retail sportwear brand in the world. They're a $5.7 billion company. They're actually larger than Under Armour. That might not be as relevant to us in the States because it predominantly does very well in Europe and does very well in the soccer space, which obviously is not as prominent as a sport here in the United States, but still a very successful brand with high brand affinity and really great athletes. As you guys can see here, they've got Bryson DeChambeau and Ricky Fowler as their two premier athletes in the golf space. So as you're going to notice in this collection, it's very similar to what you saw from Under Armour and what you've seen from Travis Matthews. It's a lot of formal wear, and it's a lot of product that you can wear on the golf course, but then also wear in a formal setting, either for uniform pieces or out in a public setting. What I like about this new collection from Puma, they've really evolved away from what you might have saw from them 10 years ago, where you saw Ricky predominantly wearing a neon sign as clothes, like that bright orange and bright green for hat, and then also polo wear. They've adjusted that to more of what we would consider your foundation colors. It's built for uniforming opportunities, and less on that more extreme side of their business when it comes to the intense colors. So some of the things that Puma identifies with, just so you know, is their 4 philosophies is to be brave, to be confident, be determined, and be joyful. And I think you can see a lot of that with some of the styles you see here. Brand new to our space is actually Puma Sport. So Puma Golf has been in our industry for a very long time, but Puma Sport is new. And as you saw with Under Armour and some of their new fleece styles, you're seeing something very identical or very similar to the Puma styles. They're iconic track jackets that have been around since the 80s. is very popular in retail. So naturally, we want to have this in our space as well too. Joggers, my goodness, I wear joggers now 4 days a week. I'm wearing them right now. We also see some sweatshirts and basic tees. Really, this is an opportunity for more of your loungewear. And honestly, guys, as Bree had mentioned too, the millennial workforce is the largest workforce in our space. A lot of this is geared towards them, as you can see with some of our marketing as well too. The youthful market has adapted brands like Puma as their own. Where we've seen the largest growth retail-wise in Puma is with younger people. And you're starting to see that with some of their brand ambassadors. They're starting to increase their brand ambassadors in the NBA, with some musicians. It's very much going for that young, trending millennial marketplace. And we want to make sure that we accommodate that marketplace as well too with some of the product that you see here. So Tim, that concludes my portion of this presentation. I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thanks. Awesome job, Scott. I mean, come on, guys. The chat is blowing up. We want to know what your favorite brands are and what brands do you have affinity with. Please do share that. Well, this concludes this portion of our presentation today. Our third brand expert is Matt Dyke. He will be discussing hard good brands such as Skullcandy, Rocket Books, Herschel Bags, Camelback, and Arctic Zone. So go for it, Matt, and then I'll take it back to conclude our showcase after you're finished.
All right, guys, hang on 1 second. Let me get to the start. You guys got a little bit of a sneak peek there. Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate it, and really appreciate being here and talking and continuing our discussion on retail brands. Very thankful for everybody on the showcase today. What a great job by Scott and Bree talking about, the trends behind retail, and Scott talking about brand affinity. Really impactful about really the why behind the surge in retail brands. As Tim mentioned, I'm going to be taking a little different approach, and we're going to be tackling some hard goods retail brands. And I think probably all five you've probably heard of. If you haven't, this is going to be a really great introduction and just a little showcase in where these brands live and why they're trending, and also what's available to you. And what you're going to see is we're going to cover four major product categories in hard goods. We're going to cover technology, stationery, drinkware, and bags. These brands are all really well known, and I'm looking forward to presenting for you. And one thing I want to note before we get going is you're going to start to see a little bit of a commonality between these brands. You're going to see a common thread. So as we go through that, you're going to notice that it's probably going to be sustainability, something that's been popular so far, even in the apparel brands we've talked to. So as we go through that, that's one of the lasting messages I want everybody to take from this hard goods presentation. So with that, let's get started. So our first retail brand is Skullcandy, and Skullcandy is an exciting one for me. I'm a little bit of a tech nerd. I love Skullcandy. I love the tech brands, and having a large retail brand like Skullcandy is right up my alley. So Skullcandy is actually a top 5 retail brand in audio. They're actually number 1 in Bluetooth earbud sales under $100. The only one higher than them in any price range is Apple AirPods. And with that, Skullcandy has a couple new items here that I'm showcasing on the slide. The first one I want to mention is the Skullcandy Indie ANC True Wireless Earbuds. These pieces here, the key phrase there is ANC. That stands for active noise canceling. And if you're like me and have 2 crazy boys running around in the background during most presentations or trainings, that active noise canceling is key. And we're used to seeing it in over-ear headphones. And so that is what's unique about this pair, is that they are in-ear earbuds. And they're a fantastic pair. They're about $100 less than the Apple AirPods. They come in that $140 range. And so very affordable in that specific type of piece. But what's great about Skullcandy is that they have price ranges all over. They start in the $10 price range and can go all the way up into the $200-300 range. So we're going to touched on one expensive one. And now for the Skullcandy Jib, that is your $40 pair. And what I love about this is still the earbuds still charge in the case, which is usually on a higher retail item, and it comes in the retail packaging. So that's a really effective tool when gifting and giving that high perceived value that we've been talking about is that gift packaging and that retail packaging that these Skullcandy pieces have. The demographic that they go after is that millennial Gen Z that we've been talking about a bit. A lot of our brands are going to be catering towards that because they do make up over 60% of the workforce these days. So if you're looking for that retail tech brand, Skullcandy is the one for you. And now we're going to transition, still kind of staying in tech, but also incorporating stationery with our brand Rocketbook. And Rocketbook is a fantastic brand. They've been out in the retail space for a little bit, fairly new to our promotional brand and merchandise market. But Rocketbook is sort of traditional. They're pen and paper. The pen feels normal. The paper feels normal, easy to write on. But what's unique about this is it's a reusable option with a digital component. So all the pages with a microfiber cloth that comes with the notebook, they wipe clean with a little bit of a damp, with a little wetting of the microfiber towel. So it creates that reusability factor. You don't have to carry around a bunch of notebooks. You can use this forever and ever. Also, what's great about this is the digital component, and that's what kind of pushes it into that tech world. Rocketbook has a really great app that you can scan your notes, your diagrams, your orders, whatever it might be, and you can scan it to one of many cloud services, meaning email, Dropbox, Notes, Teams, whatever one of those new platforms that we're all using these days in the virtual world. So great piece for that modern professional going from meeting to meeting. The price point is in that $30 to $35 range. So just a really great gift, really great brand in Rocketbook. So segueing off of tech and stationery and going into bags. This is Herschel Supply Company. Herschel Supply Company is one of the trendiest, largest bag companies in the world. They're only a 9-10-year-old company, but they are looked at as one of the most popular brands in the world when it comes to the bags. As you can see from the slides here, very sleek look, kind of old school with the brown leather straps. I'll tell you what, those duffel bags, they're my favorite duffel bags that I've come across in our industry. Just high-end quality. They range in price from your $40, $50 range all the way up into the hundreds. They even have accessories like the Herschel hip pack. Yes, you can't call it a fanny pack when you're talking about Herschel. You got to be a little more cool or hip than that. So you got the hip pack with Herschel, just a really great brand. And then to continue that sustainability train, Herschel went a step further than some brands. They actually created their own brand around sustainability, and it's called Parkland. It's actually designed and manufactured by Herschel. And what you can see here is kind of a best of all worlds. You get the quality of Herschel, a little bit less in price. You get the kind of similar silhouettes as the Herschel backpacks and duffel bags. But what you get here is a fully sustainable piece. So you look at that little cool diagram there. At the top, they take recycled water bottles, plastic water bottles that we have, unfortunately, abundance of in the world, and create it into a yarn that they dye and turn into these beautiful bags. So actually about 15 recycled plastic water bottles go into the outside of each of these bags. And they're continuing to come up with ways to make these bags even more and more sustainable, like the little leather patch that you see in the center of the backpack. They're turning that into apple core. Don't ask me how they do that one. I don't have a fun graph for that. But this is just a great example of a top retail brand taking on that initiative of sustainability and doing it in a new way. So steering a little bit of away from bags, we're going to enter into the world of drinkware. Drinkware is a huge category for the promotional goods market. It's really surged over the last 5-6 years with the emergence of brands like Yeti and Hydro Flask. And a couple of the brands we're going to talk to today. And one of them is CamelBak. So CamelBak, I didn't really steer too far off bags. CamelBak actually started as a backpack company, and they had this little niche called hydration backpacks. So for those ultra marathons or those hiking, those really outdoor enthusiasts. And then not too long after their emergence in that world, they came out with some drinkware. They're really hydration experts. So their drinkware was all about hydration. So they have the Shoot and the Edyval, which is their most popular, that you'll see on the left side of the screen there, that made up of that BPA BPA-free plastic, that Triton plastic material. They're a leader in that. They range in that $14, $15 range, so really well priced, and by far the most popular bottle from CamelBak. But what they've done over the last year or so is they started entering into that vacuum metal world, that vacuum insulated world, I should say. And they started with the water bottles that they're used to. But what we've seen over the last few months, and these are relatively new to market, I just saw them while shopping for my son Hudson's birthday at Target, is the more conventional pieces that we're used to in the retail space. So your 16-ounce mug or tumbler, your camp mug, those silhouettes that are popular, the wine tumblers, and a little more sleek wine bottle. They call it a wine bottle, but it could be for water as well. So entering into that vacuum insulated world that we're all used to seeing out there. But what's great about this and what's great about CamelBak, this is another example of a retail brand going above and beyond to join up into that initiative of sustainability. They did, you know, some people say if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or if it's broke, you know, don't fix it. But what CamelBak did is actually said, you know what, we have the leading BPA-free bottle, but we're going to change it up. We're going to come out with a material that is made up of 50% recycled material. So as of May of this year, they are actually going to be launching a new bottle that's going to replace their BPA-free bottle, and it's going to be made out of recycled material. And that's really exciting for the summer. And it's just an example of another brand going above and beyond and doing a great thing for the globe. So that's great from CamelBak. And then as we head into our last retail brand we're going to talk to, that is Arctic Zone. And Arctic Zone is another one that's been trending really, really strongly over this last year that we've been dealing with the pandemic. And this is for a couple of reasons. They're insulation specialists. We just talked about how big drinkware is, and they fall into that category as well. But coolers have also seen a huge resurgence. And now we're heading into spring. Weather's getting a little better, coming from Cleveland, so it's still a little bit cool. But that outdoor trend that the millennial and Gen Z group has really pushed forward and is surging has really taken the cooler world to a new level. So Arctic Zone is one of the best cooler options in our space. They specialize in that soft-sided cooler. Really great options here, all different styles, lunch coolers, rolling coolers, even a cooler with a speaker. But do really well in this space. But they also throw in that vacuum insulation copper line drinkware, and those silhouettes look very familiar to what we're used to seeing out in retail from these retail brands. So really great things from Arctic Zone. And again, I'm going to stay on the sustainability train and show you what Arctic Zone is doing. Another example of a brand going above and beyond to reach sustainability. First, we'll show the two drinkware pieces. They've added these to the mix recently in the new launch, with kind of that wine silhouette cup, that slim cooler, slim kind of can koozie look that is great for a coffee or throwing a White Claw in, whatever your preference. But with the drinkware, they've also changed out their coolers. So these are their Reprieve line. These are brand new, just hit a couple weeks ago. And what's great is these play on two different major trends out in retail. So the interior lining of these is made from an antimicrobial microban lining, which is great for health and wellness. And then also, you guessed it, the exterior is made from recycled material. So another example of another retail brand that didn't have to, but is jumping on that sustainability bandwagon. So with that is my last brand. I hope these brands resonated with you. And I'm going to turn it over to Tim and the Shamrock team.
Kudos, you guys. Excellent job to all three of our brand specialists today. I mean, really awesome ideas and certainly trending on-trend products. Very difficult to get a paycheck out of Shamrock these days with all these amazing things that I'm going to have to order in as samples. So anyhow, I just want to kind of give you an update in regards to Shamrock is recording this session. So please reach out to your sales director if you would like a link, and we certainly would just ask that you forward the link to anybody within your organization that would find it useful. So now the call to action, more prizes. So if Ellen can bring that up, we need you to do one more thing for us. We need you to email us by the end of today, okay? info@shamrockcompanies.net. In the subject line, you can put chat, you could put Hipstetter, you could put whatever you want in there. but put something in there and get that email to us by the end of today, because we are going to enter you in for some fabulous prizes. Okay, that's the end of our session. Thank you to our loyal customers. We hope you found the information presented today by these amazingly talented people useful. This concludes the Innovation Spring Showcase. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.